I started dancing when I was 9 or maybe 10, and I'm 22 now. So yeah, it's been a while. I can't really do the math, but it's been a little while. The appeal, well, I think I can remember it really quite vividly. I think it was it was very otherworldly to me. You know, it felt like I was kind of being faced with something that I was so unfamiliar with, and you know, that kind of the eye opener into a whole nother lifestyle and a whole nother, you know, culture within itself in a way. And you know, I always liked the kind of the training that came with it as well. I think that was always an appeal as well, was the idea of training hard for something. I think that was in me from very early on. It played like an integral role in my childhood. You know, I can't remember a whole lot before my life became completely immersed in dancing. You know, so for me it was a no-brainer. You know, it was. I think, you know, I think I would have felt quite foolish to take any other path, because I think I'm very aware of, you know, the fact that, you know, there are people that can spend half their lives looking for something that they want to feel passionately about, you know, something that they want to kind of work really hard at. And the fact that I had access to mine so early on was a real, you know, I felt very kind of fortunate. You know. And of course, kind of starting off young, I had time to really formulate an idea, you know, kind of formulate, you know, exactly what I want to achieve from it, and how I'm going to do it. So yeah, I mean, there was no alternative. I didn't want there to be another alternative. There didn't need to be one. So yeah, there was no real question. I just kind of rolled with it, and here I am. How I dance? I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer this all that well. I don't know, I guess, I don't know, my dancing's been through so many different stages, you know, and I think it's evolved really quite naturally over the years. But I think a really defining time for me was when I started to kind of follow my own instincts a bit more, you know, kind of being made aware of the fact that you have your own mind, you know, you have your own body, and I think quite naturally you interpret things and take things on board in your own way. And I think I started to become more honest with that and kind of letting that show more. You know, because I like to see individuality in people when they dance, you know, I think it should be your inside out, you know. So I think, you know, and as soon as I adopted this kind of way of doing it and way of seeing things, my dancing changed really quite drastically. I think it became a lot more real to me. I felt a lot more kind of connected with it, and eventually I became more comfortable with it. Looking at it from more of a kind of like a physical point of view, you know, I really like awkwardness. You know, I like putting my body in positions that are really awkward, but try and kind of come in and out of these positions with a certain kind of finesse and a flow, almost kind of giving off the illusion that it's effortless when it isn't. You know, you know, so I like to flow. You know, and with a certain kind of conviction and execution behind it. You know. Yeah, as I said before, like I always like the idea of training hard for something, and I would say from maybe like 11 through to being 20, I trained really hard, you know, kind of almost sickening amounts. It was quite obsessive. I had to feel like I was kind of progressing, and had to feel improvements within myself, kind of, you know, really quite regularly. So I mean, even when I wasn't training, I mean, it was either kind of rehearsals or, you know, or kind of a performance-based thing. I mean, so it was really constant. And I think the only time that I really had off throughout that time was either when I was sick or injured, and even then I would still try, you know. So I think, I don't know, maybe from now maybe the past kind of year or two, I find it easier to kind of take time off. I think maybe, you know, kind of listening to your body a bit more, and I think it's a lot more of a healthier approach. You know, I can take maybe a few days off and I don't feel like I have something, you know, clubbing me at the back of the head, kind of saying, you know, what are you doing? You need to be training, or you need to be kind of rehearsing, or, you know, doing something. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's how I pretty much did it up to now, yeah. It doesn't come to me if I'm really kind of consciously kind of searching for it. I think it's one of those things where it comes to me really spontaneously and really kind of sporadically, you know, and it's usually late at night, you know. And I think the most recent thing that affected me was I was on a train. I had like a 5-hour journey, and I met this homeless guy, and he kind of reeled off his whole kind of life story to me. You know, he's telling me about what he had done and what he had lost, and that really had an effect on me. And I listened to every minute. You know, I would get off the train. You know, we'd have like a 20-minute. You know, get off the train, have a 20-minute wait to kind of catch the next connection. And he would come out with a coffee and a cig with me. You know, and he would carry on. Do you know what I mean? He just wouldn't stop talking, and that it really affected me in a way. You know, so yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It's really kind of sporadic, and I can't quite put my finger on where, you know, these ideas come from, but yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. You know, it's across the board. You know, in whatever you do, I think. Ultimately, I think what it comes down to is, you know, I think the people that really kind of go all the way are the ones that are doing it for the right reasons from the beginning. You know, I really don't think it has anything to do with talent or anything. You know, I really don't like the word talent. I find it really corny, and I think it's really overused now. I think it's kind of thrown around on a whim, you know, nowadays. So, you know, I think, you know, for the people that kind of really, you know, go all of the way in what they do, are the ones that are doing it for the right reasons and have been from day one. If you come across a brick wall, you know, if you kind of get like a slap back, you know, it shouldn't deter you away from what you wanted to achieve from the beginning. You know, I think it comes with the territory. You know, I think it's necessary. You know, I think to kind of to have these you know, maybe sour patches. I think it's really necessary in kind of growing and kind of taking things up a notch. You need to kind of really strip it down and kind of look at the bare bones of what you do. You know, and I think everybody knows within themselves whether or not they're doing what they do for the right reasons, you know, because I loved doing this way before it became, you know, a profession or you know, in performance or, you know, whatever. So, you know, I think it's all a kind of a part of it, you know. But I think it becomes an endurance test, and I think, like I said before, it's just the people that go the whole way or the people that go the distance are the ones that really, you know, love it and do it for the right reasons. So, you know, and if you do, then any kind of obstacle or anything that you face, you know, it should just be an opportunity in disguise, you know. E.T. for me, it petrified me, that film. This, you know, people would always tell me, you know, it's a children's film, you know, but I don't believe it. There's something really kind of evil about that little thing, you know. I don't let anybody tell me different. There's something really evil about that little alien thing, and yeah, it scared me. I had to see, you know, I had to have counselling, man. I couldn't sleep for months after seeing that film. And even now, I think even now it still scares me a little bit. You know, I think it's his eyes, you know, and the kind of and the way he moves, you know, his head, and yeah, there's something about him that really scares me. But maybe, I don't know, on the topic of dancing, I don't know, something that's definitely kind of maybe not fear, but something I'm kind of, I don't maybe want to feel something. You know, I don't want to reach an age where I look back and I regret not doing something. I think, yeah, that's always kind of been a bit of a worry for me. Like I'm doing everything I can now to make sure that in the future I don't feel that, you know, as much as I may do. So yeah, I think that's what it is, you know, reaching an age and or reaching a kind of stage in life and regretting not doing something or pursuing something. So yeah, I think that's my biggest fear. An E.T. No, I don't. I don't know if I'm in a position to really give advice. You know, you know, coming from maybe, you know, from a dancer to anybody within the kind of the performing world of things. You know, stand for something. Stand for something. You know, if you have a kind of a certain style, then follow that through. You know, don't let anybody kind of like deter you away from that. You know, if there's something very kind of specific that you want to achieve, then don't let anybody affect you in a way that's going to throw you off achieving what you've wanted to achieve from the beginning. You know, because nothing is really worth that, I don't think. And I think persistence is key as well. You know, kind of being thick-skinned to an extent and kind of being persistent at the same time. You know, don't let, you know, don't, yeah, like I said, just don't let anybody or anything deter you away from what you want to achieve. You know, and that's what I'm actually good at, is kind of staying very persistent. You know, if I have an idea in my head, you know, I've kind of visualized something, it's gonna happen sooner or later. You know, so yeah, I think just kind of, you know, just being, you know, believing in what you do and staying persistent in what you do. Yeah, those are my words of wisdom.